Welcome to the Crewcast, the Crew's live podcast about video games and all things Crew. Join us and many of your favorite crew members as we review games, talk about the new Crew series, answer your questions, and much more. So sit back, relax, and enjoy this episode of the Crewcast.
Welcome to episode 26 of the Crewcast for the 30th of November 2013. Today we have Piper, Gizmo, myself and Belboz, and let's go straight into the news.
All right. Big news. Gizmo, take it away.
So this isn't 100% sure, but it's been reported that Telltale, who made the Walking Dead game, are making a Game of Thrones game. So, I saw this when we were recording the last Crewcast, and I freaked out. So if they do, and it's good, that's just going to be amazing, because you can do so much with it. There's so much story to tell, but the only thing is, what would they do with it? Like, I know, Piper, you watch the show and read the books. I think
Yeah.
you watch the show, don't you? You watch the show, Boz?
Yes, I love the show. I don't know. I mean, this is interesting. I mean, I think they've been hit and miss on some things. I mean, a lot of people say the Back to the Future, not very good. Okay, kind of like better than maybe average, but still kind of average. Now the Jurassic Park has been panned by almost everybody as being garbage.
Yeah, I've heard that was rubbish. But I've heard that the Fables one is good.
But wasn't Walking Dead like the best game of 2013 by someone before?
2012, I think.
Yeah, no.
2012.
I mean, the Walking Dead has been critically loved. People love it. The new one, I've heard, I think, more good things than bad things, but I have heard a few bad things, but I think it's been mostly positive. I don't think it's going to sell as well as like Walking Dead or possibly Game of Thrones. But it's like, what are they going to do for Game of Thrones? Because
I mean,
Walking Dead, they kind of, it's a story kind of in tandem with the main story. But there's so many things going on in Game of Thrones already. Are they going to
No, but
create
there's so
a whole
much
new
that-
thing? Or are they going to continue? Is it going to be one of those things where you're literally just playing the TV show or the movie or the TV show or the books?
I think what they could do with it is they could maybe go back in time to like the war.
There is actually
There's so much stuff that happened before the TV show that that could get into.
I don't know if it's a short story or something, but there is actually George R. R. Martin's
Duncan Egg or something.
something like that.
Yeah, I think that's
Written
based
about
on Aegon the Conqueror or something when he first
Okay.
attacks, I think.
Yeah, I mean, see, the thing that worries me, though, I mean, I'm excited about it because obviously Telltale, I think, is on a huge upswing. I mean, I love the company and what they do. But the thing that worries me is Walking Dead already has kind of a built-in thing. Zombies everywhere.
Yeah.
Game of Thrones is more about the fight for the throne.
Yeah.
I mean, you've got a similar kind of zombie element to it, but it's, at least right now, it's not a huge part of the story on the TV show. But it's like, what, will people be as excited if it is something, say, like with Giz, that's talking about where it's going back to maybe some earlier battle, maybe where, what was his name? The king at the very
Robert.
beginning. Yeah,
The
maybe
Mad
Robert.
King. Oh.
Or even that. I mean, will people really be that interested in that versus with Walking Dead, it's still about zombies. It's still about surviving. I mean, I don't want to be a downer just because I really am excited about it, but it's like, what are they going to do? I'm more excited about what are they going to do and then hoping that it plays out well. But I don't know if I'd like it if it's just purely a repetition of what we've seen or what we've read.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
mean,
Go on.
well, a cool idea that I had just had in my head is that Like, what if they did? This would be very hard to do, but like in The Walking Dead, when you make decisions, it changes things quite a bit. So what if it did follow the main Game of Thrones storyline, but you could change things? You could make decisions as those characters, but change those decisions. How would that affect things? That would be quite cool and interesting to see, I think.
So, like, if you play,
But that would be very, very hard to like write out, and it's a complicated story as it is. But that would be so good, I think.
Because it's like George R. R. Martin's created this whole massive world. And, I mean, I know Walking Dead's like based around Atlanta, but like George R. R. Martin's got this whole massive like country, and then he's got like a different continent as well, and stories which are happening there. So it's like if you do that though, if you like follow, I'll be in the Stark family and I'll go down and travel down to King's Landing and blah blah blah, and then you like, oh wait, no, there's this, this might happen too, and then you go off and you're walking around the country half the time, and I don't know how they're going to make it work. I really don't, because there's so much going on and so many different characters everywhere and stuff. I don't know.
Well, remember too, Walking Dead doesn't have to be about Atlanta. I mean,
yeah, definitely.
They could go anywhere they want. I mean, they haven't touched on it yet on the TV show, and I don't know if the comics do. How widespread it is globally, but theoretically, this is a global issue that's going on The Walking Dead. But even if it's not, it could just be, the United States is overwhelmed. Maybe the borders have been cut off. I mean, who knows how it's going to all play out.
But isn't The Walking Dead based in Atlanta? I mean, I've just started playing it, so I don't know.
Well, think about this. That's all I'm going to say is, like, would you stay in one place if it wasn't safe?
That's true, no.
Well, my point is just, it doesn't have to be. You're talking what is the TV show or the comics, where are they based? Now, maybe, again, I'm not following the comics like constantly. I've seen a lot of them, but I don't think the TV show has gotten much further than where I have gotten looking at the comics. But if I'm writing a game, if I'm the developer, I'm not limited to saying, unless the deal forces me to, with, say, AMC or with, what's his name, Kirkland, I could easily say, hey, you know what, it would be kind of cool maybe to then have this add-on take place in New York. I mean, let's deal with how a big city handles. Not that Atlanta's not a big city, but let's deal with like New York City, one of the biggest cities, how they deal with it. Or let's go to the Midwest. Let's go to Kansas and show how like a small town deals with it. I mean, you're not limited, because to me at least, the thing that makes The Walking Dead exciting is the survival with zombies, and those can be anywhere.
Yeah.
So you can go anywhere. I mean, obviously Game of Thrones has a huge landscape, all these different areas, these different rulers, and all this history, but a lot of it's already set in stone. So are they going to go the easy route, which I think would be to go maybe show why the wall was built? Maybe you're part of...
Bran the Builder.
Yeah, maybe you're part of that. Stuff that's probably not going to be touched in. They wouldn't want to go after, because obviously you wouldn't want to, like, when the books supposedly will stop. Like,
they won't go after. 100% they won't go forward in time. 100%. I
mean, or will it be like little cut parts? Will you be taking part where you're with, is it Daenerys? Is her name or whatever?
Daenerys, yeah.
Will you be with her group maybe while she's sailing, and there'll be stuff going on there? Will you be with Rob when he's waging war as like somebody there? Will it be all these different parts where you hop around and you're with people that are things that have already happened or are going to happen?
Yeah, that would be cool, I think. I mean, 400 Days, the DLC for Walking Dead, that kind of has multiple characters in it, and it kind of jumps between them all. So I think they could be able to do it in a sense of having different kind of characters, and then jumping from like the north, like jumping to like the Southlands, to like King's Landing, maybe to, like to across the sea. I think that would work.
You know what I think would be really cool? And this is probably, I mean, maybe this is stupid, but this is my idea what I think would be cool. What's the character that can change his form? Who
Jack
says,
and
like,
Hagar.
that you play him, but he is in all these different subplots as a different character, because he can change what he looks like.
Literally, if Jack and Hagar is the main character, this game would sell millions. Fangirls would just buy it.
because you could put him in even like on the TV show when you're at certain spots. Like say you're with Daenerys, maybe he is one of her group, and they just don't know. Maybe he's with Rob as one of his guys, and you just don't know because this guy can easily change form and do whatever he needs to do. So maybe he's a great character.
I mean, there are actually the people, I think they're called the faceless ones, and there's not just one guy who can do it, there's multiple people who can do that. So that's a possibility that could happen.
Yeah, no, I think it'd be kind of cool, though. He's a guy that you could tie into, but not be limited. It's not like he would have to be centered around the time he was there in that one area, giving, what's her name, her three things or whatever. But have him linked in, but not actually spoiling maybe future stuff with him or whatever else. I don't know. I haven't read the book, so I'm sure he's going to come into play at some point. Anyway, sounds very exciting. We'll talk more, hopefully, if it is true. It is only reported right now.
But I hope it's true.
I think it makes sense. It would be a huge thing. I think Telltale is going to continue to do these types of games, and I think that's a great idea for them.
Yeah, definitely.
For sure.
All right, next up. As this airs on Saturday, the PS4 will have been officially released in Europe.
Woo!
Woo!
We're recording this on Thursday, which actually is Thanksgiving, so happy Thanksgiving to all you people from the States.
Happy Thanksgiving.
I would assume later. Yeah, I would assume later tonight that you're going to start seeing, if not already, people are going to start lining up in stores to get their PS4s. So I don't know if any of you guys are excited about it. I don't think any of you guys are looking to purchase a PS4 this early.
No.
No, definitely. There's certainly no way. Hopefully they're not going to be bricked again or whatever was going off last time.
Yeah, I think they'll be fine. I mean, I don't think either of the consoles have had any real major issues. So I think it's good to see. I mean, that pretty much means that the consoles are released everywhere. I think really the only thing that doesn't have the new consoles as of now is I think Japan doesn't have the PS4 yet.
Yeah, I still can't get my head around that.
Next year.
Wait, Japan?
They don't get it till next year.
I thought they get everything first.
Well, Sony is a Japanese company. I mean, obviously they have US and Japanese, and I'm sure they have other areas too, but I think the Japan and US are the two that work together to build the console. But I believe what I've read is the reason it's not released in Japan till next year is there's just no good games for what the Japanese people want yet, so they're not going to release it yet.
I know, I was shocked as well when Buzz mentioned it in Rumble, was it last week or something? And I was like, what? Really?
I think that makes sense
Crazy.
because not that many people would buy it if they don't have the games to play it. Like, they don't have any games to play on.
Yeah, but isn't that, like now, people are buying the console straight away? Like, there's not many games, but there's some.
But what it is, the Japanese market, I think, wants more of the Japanese style games. They're not as big a fan, say, of FIFA or Call of Duty or Battlefield. Those aren't their things. There's a huge number of titles that are released just in Japan that if you really want to play them, you have to import them. A good comparison would be if you watch the Xbox One release party they did right before the Xbox One went on sale. They had a guy they brought on, I think I mentioned him before, who scored over 1 million on his gamer points. And he's like the only guy. He's been leading for years. I mean, he plays every game. He actually bought 3 different Xboxes. He's probably bought more because they probably red ringed to death on the early ones. But he's got an American one. I think he's got a European one, and he had a Japanese one. So he could start playing all the Japanese imports and other titles that aren't available here in the States, so he could get his gamer score up higher.
Whoa.
So they have a huge market of titles that I don't think cross over a lot to the European market or the US market. And I guess Sony's thing is we need to get those titles available before we start selling it. I don't believe the PS4 is region locked, so I guess if you're in Japan, you really want one, you can order one from some retailer that'll ship to Japan. And then I think all you have to figure out is the power issue. But anyway, congrats to Sony on the release. And both consoles are now out in full force. I'm assuming the Xbox is available in Japan, but I'm not sure on that.
I think so, but I don't think it's a very popular console.
So, let's move on. Something that's pretty exciting for the crew and hopefully people in general is that Starbound, hopefully, now there's not the date that they're giving isn't official, obviously, but they were hoping for around December 4th to get an alpha/beta early release out on Steam for people who have bought in to play early.
Yay!
Oh,
Cannot wait.
I know. I've been I used to look at the, is it Ty? The person who kind of did the teasers and stuff.
Yeah, I think so.
I used to look at that quite a bit, but I kind of stopped recently to avoid any like spoilers of the stuff that was coming out. So it's all like going to be fresh when I play it the first time. Oh, so excited. Because it looks really good.
If people who aren't following this game, it is a cross, I guess, between like Terraria, and some spacey type simulation, maybe FTL, but I don't know if they're going to have the combat like FTL has. But I mean, you're going to explore worlds, kind of like StarMade mixed in with Terraria. It looks really impressive. I mean, they're very, very ambitious. I believe this will be also coming out for consoles. I think PS4 is a given. I don't know about the Xbox One. But we'll hopefully have some previews of it if it does come out and when it comes out. Next story. We have one more story after this one. So a decent amount of main news. iBuyPower has just revealed their upcoming Steam machine.
Awesome.
So I don't know if you guys have looked at the specs on this.
Not the specs, I've seen the pictures. It looks really cool.
So for those that don't know, the Steam machine is going to be kind of a console in a sense, but it's basically a PC that Valve has kind of designed specs around, and I think Valve will probably sell one or multiple options, but other people can design them and build them, which is what iBuyPower is doing. It will run Linux, but it is an open platform, so if you wish to, you can install Windows on it if you've got a copy of Windows you want to put on it. And in a sense, any of your Steam games are now playable on your TV. It does come with a console or a controller that is pretty cool looking, and you can add extra. And I'm sure you can still plug in a keyboard and a mouse if you wish to. But I mean, this is going to let you bring your PC gaming to the big screen. That's one reason why you've seen for a while now a lot of Steam games when they started adding controller enabled. Is it fully controller enabled? Is it partial controller support? So you know what games are easily playable with just a controller in your hand, and you don't need that keyboard. Because a lot of games you do have to have a keyboard now and then. But specs wise, it looks like it's going to be an AMD CPU with a AMD Radeon R9 270 graphics card, and it'll have their controller. It'll support Wi-Fi, Bluetooth. It'll have Ethernet, 500 gig hard drive. Case, at least the initial case, isn't the most exciting looking thing in the world, but I'm sure that's kind of a mock-up.
It's like a sandwich.
$499. That'll come with Linux. Now, remember though, with Linux, you're not going to have all of those Steam games that you might have available. They have to support Linux. Valve is pushing very hard to get people to switch to make their games work on Linux also. But there will be an issue with some games that will either never have it or are too old, or it may take a while. So you won't be able to play those games unless you use the feature we talked about, I think last week or the week before, where you can actually stream the video from your main computer to the console, this Steam machine, and play it kind of remotely, which I'm sure will work very well because it'll be on your own network. But let's move on. We'll keep following all of these things, but this one's going to be a little bit, I think, when it actually happens. So our last main news story, Twitch has removed the PS4 Playroom from their service. So for those who don't know, on the PS4, you can pretty much be playing a game and you can hit the share button, and it'll then broadcast that game. You can integrate the Twitch chat, and if you have the PS4 camera, you can use that to show you. Mrs. Boz and Lizzie did that with Contrast, which I think they're going to do this Saturday. So prepare yourselves. So the day this airs, I think in the evening, they're going to play some more Contrast. Not the evening, probably like late afternoon, early evening. So Piper might even be able to watch this one.
Oh, please, because it really bugs me that I can't rewatch him on Twitch.
Yeah. So there is a program called the PS4 called the Playroom, and it's basically this thing where you run it and it uses the camera on the PS4, and you can use the controller to like send all these little robots out of your controller. It looks like your controller's like spitting out robots. You can kick them and punch them and roll around with them. It's got like a Pong game. Really nothing exciting. More of a tech demo to kind of let you see how the camera and all that stuff works. But there's been people who have been using the Playroom on Twitch to broadcast. There was a husband and wife who broadcast a tech show. They set up a desk and they sit there and they took caller questions. I guess they gave out a phone number. People called in. I think even somebody from Sony called in and a couple developers for PS4 titles called in. And people were like, it's okay, but it's kind of weird. Is this a big deal? But there's been some people who have abused it. There was some stuff I hate to even try to explain, but let's just say there might have been a little skin showed by one group. Another group, I think, was supposedly doing drugs on the...
Oh, seriously?
Yeah, on their stream. There's just been people who have been using it for not gaming. And Twitch says if you're going to stream on Twitch, it has to be gaming related. And it's okay, like... The husband and wife who did the talk show, it was about the PS4 and gaming, so that actually did qualify. But because it's been abused so much, Twitch has just removed it, so you cannot stream the PS4 Playroom.
Wow. So are PS4 happy that they've removed it, or do they completely understand where they're coming from? Because surely that's a feature that they've advertised for the PS4.
I think Sony probably is happy in the fact that it could be some bad press. I'm not a fan of censorship like this in any fashion. I mean, I think the husband and wife who did the talk show have a right to do that. Theoretically, we could have used something like this if I don't have the camera for the PS4, where we could have done a crew cast with it.
Oh, that'd been cool.
I mean, it was abused big time. But I think Twitch had already things in place. And what happened when people like the guys who were doing drugs supposedly, and I say supposedly because I'm not sure if it was just a joke, people on Twitch watching it started flagging it as inappropriate, and Twitch looked at it and immediately banned them. I think the same thing happened to the guy and the wife, not the talk show, but the one who showed some skin, banned. I think that's the easiest way to do it. It's a new product. A lot of people are going to be playing it. I think Twitch was more worried because there's a lot of kids playing it. And I saw on Reddit there was a video where some guy went around pranking people who were streaming Playroom. And there was like this little kid, and he was streaming Playroom, and this guy typed into him, "So your parents like left you alone on the internet with random people." And then he says, "I'm in the window behind looking at you."
Oh, God.
This kid just starts looking around the room, and he's just like, then he goes over to the window to look. So I think
God.
that's probably more what Twitch is worried about, is the fact that kids can be using it and the chat's integrated. So I don't know. I mean, I can understand the decision, but then again, too, I can see it having real uses that people might want to use. I think the talk show idea was good. It's different. I mean, I think that's great. I mean, that's something that nobody thought about doing.
Yeah.
Yeah, that sounds cool.
They said the couple were completely clueless. So like people would call in and say like, I'm making up a question, but it'd be like if Giz say is the husband, and I call in and I'm like, Gizmo, how would you compare the graphics card in the Xbox One versus your PS4's graphics adapter or graphics chipset? Gizmo probably would not have an answer for that. I mean, and it's not a knock on Giz. It's just he's not a tech guy.
I don't.
But these people were taking questions from a lot of people, and they had no clue. But I think it was a neat idea, and they were doing it like a lot. And it's a shame. I think it has multiple uses. We'll see what happens, but I understand Twitch's decision. But I think again, in the grand scheme of things, not a big deal because it's more about gaming. I'm sure you could still stream the Playroom to Ustream because I believe that's the other service they use. And I don't think Ustream has any guidelines when it comes to it has to be gaming. It can be pretty much anything. Because theoretically, if you were going to just like stream to Twitch and it'd just be, me and Giz talking about movies or TV shows, people probably would flag it and Twitch would kick us. But we could do it on Justin TV, which is Twitch's other division, because they don't have any of those regulations. Crew news. Let's get to the crew news. So our 6 to 8 hour live stream is over. We're so tired.
Oh.
I'm
Yes,
about
I'm-
to go to sleep right now.
That one moment though with that guy and
Oh, I know, right?
yes, and when
And the-
Buzz
and the
started
duck.
singing,
Don't forget the duck.
when Buzz started singing Mac the Knife, that was amazing.
No, I'd sing probably Witchcraft.
And Piper
And
danced
Piper what?
webcam,
Yeah.
leprechaun.
Piper did what, sorry?
Danced on webcam wearing a leprechaun hat.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Was I drunk at that point?
Kids don't drink.
Yeah, don't drink, sorry. Cut that.
Don't do drugs. Don't drink. Not alleged drug use on that one PS4 thing, but don't do drugs. Anyway,
I've
6 to 8
enjoyed
hour-
it.
6 to 8 hour live stream. It's over as you see this. For us, we haven't done it because it's tomorrow night, Friday, the 29th. We're going to be doing games. In this case, when you hear this, we've already done them, but games that we've never streamed before or played before. So it was so much fun, and it was great that I owned Giz in every game we played.
Right.
That time when you get him over here.
Yeah. So anyway, check it out. We'll do another, every month we do a 6 to 8 hour live stream, but we're going to be doing other live stream stuff, which we'll talk about in a minute, some of that and different things. But Piper, theme server.
Yes, we've had quite a lot of ocean theme builds. The server is down now. Our new theme is Mythology, so I hope you will join us and build lots of interesting things.
Mixology.
Oh, did that not come out right?
No, you said it
Myth-
right. I was making a joke.
Oh, okay, sorry. I didn't know because I'm full of cold whether I actually said it wrong or something. Yes, Mythology.
So lots of great builds always by people. Remember that everything can't be shown. We try to get some of
Yeah,
the
we'd
ones that
love
we
to
think are
show
the greatest.
everything. Yeah, but yeah.
All right, and then speaking of live streams, we always do different live streams. I mean, we don't live stream like every week as a guarantee, but we do live stream now and then. I think the crew earlier in the week live streamed. What was it you guys live streamed?
Zombie Manic. They've
Yeah.
updated their servers. It was quite cool actually.
So there'll be stuff like that. As I mentioned, as the day this airs, I think Saturday afternoon, early evening, U.S. time, Eastern time. I think Mrs. Boz and Lizzie are going to go back to Contrast on the PS4 and stream it on Twitch. And the Twitch chat will show up in the stream, and they'll definitely be looking for help from people if they get stuck. And it really was a lot of fun. They enjoyed it, and the people watching, like Danny and Longshot, were helping them, and others also. But I remember those two off the bat. But they had fun playing it. It was a good-looking game. I mean, Danny, I think it was a decent adventure-ish game.
Yeah, it looked really good. The mechanic of warping in and out of walls like as a shadow is a cool mechanic.
And that game is available on Steam for those who like the game but don't have a PS4. I don't know if it's available through any other sources or if it's available on any other consoles like 360 or PS3, but definitely available on Steam. So worth checking out. If you're not sure, you could watch it. Now, I will say this is one of those games that if you do watch somebody playing it, it may take away your desire to want to play it because it is kind of an adventure game and story-based. So it'd be like the Walking Dead game. You probably wouldn't want to watch somebody play that and then play it yourself. You might. Depends on the person. But look for other streams and stuff. We got something coming up Sunday, the day after this. That's something new that we're going to be doing streaming-wise. We'll see. I'll put up a YouTube video announcing that it's going live. And I'll try to put up a YouTube video when Lizzie and Mrs. Boz stream Contrast so that more of you know, because I know some people complained that they didn't know it was going to happen. All right, main segment. This is a doozy. This is a biggie. This is a controversial one. This is a biggie. It's a big one.
I think it's a very important one actually.
This has come up a lot in the crew and fans and friends of the crew and just across the board, and it's pretty wide sweeping. But the topic: when does video gaming, being online, like technology and all that, take up too much of your life, where it's a problem, and how do you control it? Piper, your thoughts?
I don't know where to begin, to be honest. It's I get worried with some people online and how they're just they just come on mumble and they're just continuously on there, and I'm like thinking, this is more like with the fans, and thinking, have they got homework to do? Should they be like interacting with their friends more? And things like that. And it does worry me. And I mean, should I talk about me personally, or
If you
like
got
how
something
I
you can
control
relate
it?
to it.
I mean, I think I've got a balanced life with online and offline. I don't know if people agree or disagree with that. Um, I don't really control it that much. I just try to socialize with friends, and then as well as coming online and spending time online too. I think it can be quite addictive. Um, I know when I first started playing Minecraft, all I was doing was playing Minecraft. This was before the channel or anything. Um, People used to comment on me playing it all the time. But I think as a child, my parents were very strict, and I remember when I was about 12 and I got theme hospital, it was like I was only allowed on there for an hour, and I think some of that has rubbed off on me, and I keep thinking to myself, oh, I'm playing this game, but really I could be doing, my washing or my, sorting stuff out, and I just, yeah, I've got that kind of mentality now in my head, and I just wonder what the kids are going to be like in the future, like, whether they're going to have the same thing or whether they'll just be online whenever they want to be online. I don't know. Just a few thoughts to throw out there.
Danny, what about you? I mean, I know before you joined the crew, we saw like some videos with you and your buddies, hitting each over the head with boards. Although I'm making that up, but kind of that realm of videos, just and everything. But do you think that this has or is an issue for you? Do you see yourself spending less time with your buddies because of gaming and online, TV, online or whatever?
I don't think it's an issue. I don't see my friends as much as I used to, but that's just because of life stuff happening there. But for gaming, I don't really play that many games that much. I pretty much play games when we're playing games, or I'm by myself and I'm bored, and I'll like play Batman, or I'll play some League of Legends if I'm up to it. But it doesn't really seem to be an issue for me, at least.
Okay.
I don't know
Yes.
about anyone else.
Your thoughts?
Hi. I mean, a lot of people have phones these days, don't they? And so a lot of people are always connected. So it's hard to think like what's it going to be like for this generation, like going into the future. Like imagining like what they're going to be like when they're older. Like are people going to be sat in like old people's homes with like mobile devices on the internet and stuff? Whereas like today, if you go to like an old people's home, it's usually like they're not really all in on technology. Whereas like, I mean, obviously some are, but like in the future, is that going to be like us? Are we all going to be like really old and like sat on like laptops and stuff?
We'll hook into the Matrix at that point, but
I think we will, to be honest. I mean, I think the older generation now are more tech savvy, and I mean, just seeing it in my place of work, they're coming in with their tablets and stuff, and they're all up to date, and they're keeping in contact with people, and they want to learn more and stuff. And I think, yeah, in the future when we're 70,
So
80 plus, we will be doing that,
so compared to
whatever the
like
technology will be.
compared to like old people now, and like if we were old people, which one's better?
Oh,
Is it
I
bad?
don't know. I think
well, I think
no, because that's just the society.
I think we're kind of getting off of this main topic, though.
Sorry.
Let me chime in and just maybe this will make it better, maybe it'll make it worse. But I think being a tech guy, being a computer guy, being into that realm, even as a kid when computers were just really starting to become viable for home use, I've seen a lot where people get so into that's all they do, and they forego, in a sense, the real world, hanging out with friends, you know, playing sports and all that. And it used to be TV was the knock. When I was a kid, computers weren't as popular like they are now. Technology wasn't as popular as it is now. So it was like, oh, all you kids do is sit home and watch TV. Too much TV, too much TV. Well, now I mean, it's computers, it's video games, it's watching TV and things. Either being on the TV and watching it, or watching TV over the internet through Netflix or through um, Amazon, or through nefarious methods where you're watching shows that you're really not supposed to be able to watch because they're not available. But I think for me, especially as a parent, I mean, we always want Lizzie. I prefer, like, if we're going to record or play a game and Lizzie wants to play, but a friend wants her to go play outside or come over to their house and play something that's, could be they're playing hide and seek or playing whatever. I always want her to do that where she has the interaction with friends and plays
Yeah.
outside or does things because I don't want to see her stuck. But what worries me a lot is here with the crew, you know, having the system we do, I see a lot of people who spend all their time on Mumble. They're playing Minecraft, they're playing LOL, and they don't get out. I mean, they're constantly, their biggest source of interaction with people is online. And while that can be healthy in some aspects and can be a huge plus for some people, because some people maybe struggle making friends, or maybe people struggle at school, maybe they're being bullied, and having some friends online is a great uh, help for them. It can also then become a hindrance when you get too into it. If you're spending all your time playing video games, all your time being online, be it on Mumble, be it playing video games, be it watching TV, if all you're doing is that, then I do think you should change your priorities, because you, especially as a kid or a teenager, you need to get out there. You need to do things with other people. Uh, you know, there's a big world out there, and there's a lot of stuff that you should be doing. I mean, and then also it becomes an addiction, and it stops you from possibly being able to do things that you need to do. You become so complacent being at the computer. You become so complacent playing games and watching TV that you're not moving forward in your life. You're not able to deal with people. You're not out there, in the real world. As you become an adult, you need to be out in the workforce. I mean, you need to make a living, and it can become a problem. So, I mean, there's a lot of levels to this, but I get worried when I see a lot of these younger kids that spend all their time on Mumble playing, Minecraft. I think now LOL has become an addiction for a lot of our fans. And it's like they're constantly playing it, but you need to keep that in check, I think, because it will get to the point where that's all you want to do. And if it takes away from your interacting with people, getting out and seeing the world, moving forward in your career or getting your education and being serious about your education, I think that's a problem. Yeah, I mean, so I just, I would just want to strongly tell people, maybe that this strikes a chord with. If you are one of those people that you're spending all your time online, if you are one of those people who aren't taking your education seriously, who aren't trying to, maybe you're done with your education, if you aren't trying to get out there and get into the workforce, and find that spot for you, don't stick in this rut, because the longer you stay in that rut of just being online, playing games, watching video games, playing Minecraft, playing LOL, whatever it may be, whatever your vice game is or games, try to break that cycle, because it gets tougher and tougher the more you stay in it.
Yeah.
All right, so let's move on off the soapbox to deals of the week. So this is going to be an easy one. I'm not going to talk Humble Bundle. There may be some Humble Bundle stuff going on. Who cares? Steam Autumn Sale in progress.
Yay!
So I believe this goes till How far does this sale go?
2nd of December.
Oh, I
So-
better get on my wish list.
So you won't have too many days after this airs, but if you're not paying attention to the sale, lots of stuff will be going on sale, flash deals, different things. So I think I saw Terraria was up there yesterday. I think it's still going on a little bit today because they usually keep the previous day's sales going for a little bit. I think Killing Floor is on sale right now.
Yep.
I think
get Killing Floor.
Arma 2 was on sale, may still be on sale.
Game Dev
Literally-
Tycoon is on sale.
Everything in my wish list has got a sale price, like money off. Can I buy it all?
Yeah. So just remember, though, always the rule of thumb: if it's not a daily deal or like one of those like flash deals, if it's just like marked down for the entire sale, there is a chance that it may become a daily deal or a flash deal. So if it's not one of those two, it'll be on sale the whole time anyway. You might want to wait until the very last day, and if it doesn't become a daily deal or a flash deal, then just go ahead and get it at the end. But if it does become one of those, the price will definitely be a bigger drop. It could be on sale for 25 right now or 50, but it might pop up as a 75 or 80% off as a daily or flash deal. And it doesn't hurt you to wait until the end unless you just have to have it. So, but that's the best rule of thumb to use. So definitely check out, the Steam sale.
Killing Floor is literally 75% off now, and we have a public Killing Floor server, so yeah.
But it won't be in this as. Unless it
Oh,
will.
that's true. Unless it comes back.
Well,
It'll probably be out on the main one.
It'll be today and tomorrow because they'll have it. If it's a daily deal today, it'll still be on tomorrow. But
The
when this
flash.
airs, it will be off.
Yeah.
It's a flash. All right.
It's a flash.
It might come on as a daily deal though.
Hopefully.
Yeah, I will. I reckon. It probably will.
The Walking
Now,
Dead's on 75% off.
Yeah. Supposedly this deal will be very similar and be repeated here at Christmas too. So if you don't have money right now, maybe you're spending all your money on Christmas shopping, but you're going to get some money around the holidays from family or whatever. This is your chance again then coming up Christmas time when that sale hits. I've not bought anything really, so I haven't been too excited. The last sale I didn't really buy much on, so a lot of it comes down to the fact that I think I got most of the games besides like big titles that maybe are super expensive and I don't want to spend $60, even if it's on sale for $40, especially if it's a game maybe that I haven't even played the previous version of yet.
Yep.
All right, so your questions. Now, as always, in the link in the description, or in the description, there's a link to a form you can fill out with your question. You can submit it just in a type form, which is what all of these are today. Or you can submit a link in that form to a video on YouTube, make it unlisted so that no one else sees it and we see it because of the link. Or if it's an audio question, you could do it on YouTube, or you could put it on Dropbox or SoundCloud. I mean, any of the formats will work. You could even put your video on Dropbox if you wanted to. As long as I can get it in like a MP4, MKV, WMV, AVI. I mean, if it's something that's playable with like VLC, I can always convert it. So send in your questions. We love them. Try to make some interesting questions. Think of some new stuff, not the tried and true. How did you start the crew? How do I get to be in the crew? That kind of stuff. So the first question comes from Spider Joker. And the question is, will the crew ever make vlogs? And that's video logs. So what do you guys think?
Well, I think technically we already have.
Once
did-
we
Well,
yeah, we did at Minecon.
Yeah. So we've sort of started doing it, but I don't know what we're going to do, if we're going to do any more in the future. I mean,
We're so spread out though, aren't we? It would be hard to, unless it's like single vlogs, or if the Buzz family do one, then
Well, I mean,
yeah.
we could do something if we wanted, I guess, where like we Skyped, and set up like a thing and had all the people, or a hangout where all of us are in a video hangout type setup, and then we record that and then put it up or stream it or whatever. So I mean, we do have done some, like Giz has said. We'll probably do some things similar to that. I think with the Xbox One and it having the Kinect as part of it, you may see me do some clips. One of the things that I did, and I probably won't air it, but it was me and Mrs. Boz were playing NBA 2K14, which is basketball, for those that don't know.
Ooh.
And when you play the Xbox on the Xbox One, it's always in a sense recording. So is the PS4, but I was our first time playing it. And in basketball, for those who don't know, at the very beginning of the game, the ref throws up a jump ball, and both teams are at center court, and you jump up and you try to tip it to one of your teammates so that then you can advance the ball towards the other team's basket. Neither of us knew what button to hit. So the guy throws the ball up in the air. Our players just look at each other. The ball hits the ground. Then she gets the ball somehow. Her dribbles it down the field, passes, horrible pass. And I was playing the Heat, so I was LeBron James, and I stole it. And then I take it down the field and pass it to, I think it might have been Dwayne Wade underneath, and he does a layup. So I said, Xbox, record that. And I'm looking over right now to see if it turns on, but I didn't, because I didn't say the other command. And it popped up, and I recorded it. And then you can go in, and then you can turn the Kinect on, and it'll record you in the room talking about it while it plays it, and then you can put that as a video. So I have this video that shows me and Mrs. Boss sitting at the Xbox, and I'm like saying, "Oh, here we are with our first time. Look at that! Look at that! Oh, pass underneath! Oh, that's 2 points." And Mrs. Boss is just looking at me like, whatever. So I have that clip, and I thought about putting it up, but then I thought,
Oh, I did.
Oh.
because I'm kind of taunting her.
Oh.
It was just just me teasing her. She's laughing about it because neither of us knew what we were doing. Because literally, I don't read manuals. I just start playing the games. None of us knew what controls did what, and it was funny. I tell you, one thing that's really cool about that game, just as a side topic, is at halftime, because you have basically 4 quarters in basketball. After the first 2, or periods, whatever you want to call them, it went to like a halftime show. It actually goes on the internet, and it looks at current games, scores, puts them up, and it also has like so much pre-recorded audio. It basically can then say, the Timberwolves lost today to the Heat, 100-80. In the game, LeBron scored 44 points, and I'm like, this sounds legit. And because it said at the bottom, like, real sports, real news, real stats. So I go over to my computer and I'm like, that's actually the score, and that's actually what happened.
Wow.
Wow, that's cool.
Wow. It's very impressive.
I will say, too, it also has, and this feature exists in a lot of different games, and it's been in some games even on the previous generation. If you cuss, you can get a technical foul. Because the Kinect can hear you. Now, some people were giving Microsoft a lot of problems because FIFA does the same thing. If you say foul language, you can get carded. Like, is it red card? Is that what you guys call it?
Yeah.
Yellow. You get a yellow card for it.
So
sorry.
somebody said probably the S-bomb, F-bomb, and then, whistle. And they were like, this is Microsoft, and, they're big brother, they're watching you. It's a feature that exists even if you play it on the PS3. On FIFA there, if you have the camera with microphones. Anything with a microphone, it will flag you. And I know Giz was against this, but it is a setting you can turn off. I think it's defaults to being on, I guess. I've never had the issue in NBA 2K14. I even tried a couple times yelling at the umps just to get it to go off, and it didn't. Because I wanted to see what it would do. But it hasn't been an issue for me, but I don't have FIFA, so I can't say that. But I think it's kind of a cool feature. I mean, maybe it should be turned off by default.
Yeah.
But I mean, I thought that was interesting. But anyway, vlogs. Yes, we do vlogs. We may do some. They won't be a prominent thing. Okay, this is an easy one. And this is from Thrashman. Do you think Minecraft will ever be playable on the PlayStation? Yes.
Yeah.
It will be
Haven't
coming
even
out.
said it. Yeah.
It will be coming out for the PS4, the PS3, and the Vita. And the Xbox One. So, yes. I mean, I don't think there was going to be a platform that can't play Minecraft the way it's going. As Notch sits in his room counting his money, and what does he yell? More wine! So, you'll be able to play it on the PlayStation. So, that'll be really cool. And Lizzie is really excited about it being on the Xbox One and the PS4, all that stuff, because she wants to be able to play with fans. So, if you've got
Aww.
consoles and can play it, you'll definitely be seeing Lizzie. And Lizzie really wants to use the record that feature to record clips and then put it up. So I don't know if this will be a situation where I finally let Lizzie have a YouTube channel to put stuff up, because I don't know if I want Lizzie constantly wanting to put up videos of her, doing this or that, because it'll be crazy Lizzie stuff that she would probably go insane making dozens of videos a day. All right, last question, and I know Giz is going to like this one. 50th anniversary, Doctor Who. Coco83834 wants to know, what was your thoughts on the 50th anniversary of Doctor Who? Again, if you haven't watched it and you don't want to hear anything, leave now. Has anyone besides me and Giz watched this?
I haven't watched it.
Do you
want
watch
to watch
Doctor
it?
Who?
No.
Okay. Giz, I know this is your life, Doctor Who, so you're dressed as the Doctor. There was a Fez in this episode, so take it away.
I shouted in glee a lot of times. And I think just what it was, like, broadcast like worldwide at the same time. I think it was about 94 countries. Just that fact alone, like, was mental. But like the episode itself was just fantastic. So many spoilers. I know, actually, here's some Twitter facts for Piper. There was 12,000 Twitter mentions when, massive spoiler, Peter Capaldi's face appeared near the end of the episode. And there was 35,000 mentions at the very end of the episode when Tom Baker appeared. That's the fourth Doctor, one of the original Doctors. I thought I'd throw that in there for you. So yeah, there was just so many great moments. Like seeing David Tennant back, and with Matt Smith and John Hurt as well, who played a different Doctor. Just three of them together, it was just so good, so good.
I think Gizmo enjoyed it.
And like the whole Time War thing, like people have been waiting to see the Time War since 2005, and it was a shame that Christopher Eccleston didn't come back. But like at the end of the episode, John Hurt is regenerating, and if you pause it just at the end part, it does look a bit like Christopher Eccleston. But obviously, he didn't come back to do it, which is...
Is there a reason why he didn't come back?
Yeah, he played the Doctor in 2005 for one season, and I think he had disagreements with the people behind the show and stuff. He wasn't really...
Didn't he say he didn't want to be typecast either?
That was his original thing, yeah. But I think like recently he's come out kind of saying that he didn't really get along with the producers and stuff. He wouldn't be coming back as well, so it was like,
That's a shame.
Okay, Chris. But yeah, but like near the end of the episode, basically, all the previous Doctors are flying in the TARDIS around Gallifrey, and suddenly, it's like it's all 12 of them, and then suddenly a guy goes, "No, sir, 13." So like Peter Capaldi's face like just flashed on screen because obviously he's going to be the next Doctor. So his face appearing was such a shock and such a epic surprise. I literally screamed the F word when I watched it.
Did you wet yourself at all?
Yes. Yes, I did.
I believe that.
The Fez being the thing that kind of linked the times together as well was so funny.
So, I mean, Giz, huge Doctor Who fan, you had to expect that he liked it. The question is, what did Boz think? Doctor Who fan.
What did Boz think?
Not at the level of Giz, but a Doctor Who fan nonetheless. Early on, I used to always get a kick out of it. I never did this, but Wolf used to always say, "This guy's my favorite Doctor Who," and Gizmo would always be like, "Your favorite Doctor." Eventually, Wolf watched it enough where he got used to it, and understood it. But early on, that was always funny. But I was a fan and have watched it for a while. I really enjoyed it. I thought it was a good episode. It was done really well. As Giz said, it was really great to see Tennant and Smith together, and then adding John Hurt in there, the War Doctor or whatever. Enjoyed it. I thought they all three did a great job. Having, was her name Billie Piper?
Yeah.
Having her in it, even though she kind of wasn't in it, maybe what some people would hope, having her in it was kind of nice. All the other doctors at the end was very cool. Obviously, Baker making his appearance, I think that was nice. I don't know how many of the
Oh,
other doctors are still alive or
it's all of them except 3. The first 3 are dead.
and how if they thought maybe about using more of them, or they decided it would be too crazy.
Well. Here's a funny thing. Have you seen the 5-ish Doctors, a special that came out alongside
No.
the? It's Peter Davison, Colin Baker, and Sylvester McCoy, and it's kind of like a parody thing of them ringing up Stephen Moffat, kind of saying, "Are we in the special? Are we in the special?" And it's kind of about them going to the UK and like picketing the thing and stuff. And eventually they get inside of the recording thing, and they try and get in on it, and they're dressed as Daleks eventually, like hidden in the recording thing. So they get in on it. And then at the end of the episode, it cuts to like a few weeks later, and Stephen Moffat and one of the editors are there, and they cut out the Dalek bit. But then it flashes to, can you remember the statue bit? You know, where the Zygons are covered by the statues? Yeah. It flashes to that, and supposedly those 3 guys, those 3 doctors, the actors, are hidden behind the thing. It was them. It was those 3 actors that were hidden behind there. No one knows for sure if it actually happened or if it was just parody of it, but I think it actually happened. I hope it actually happened, because then those 3 would actually technically be in the 50th. You just don't see them.
Yeah. I mean, like I said, I thought it was done really well. I don't think there's ever been any episode of Doctor Who that I've ever been like seriously disappointed in. There's some, and they've done so many. There's never going to be some that are like top. There's going to be some that's like, it was okay, but you let it slide because it's Doctor Who. I enjoy the show, so. But I really liked it. I thought it was good. Now, the thing that I'm curious about is obviously 13 Doctors. What's that mean? Because I don't believe Giz is correct with his theory in regards to River. I think they've got to figure out now how they're going to go beyond this, because this is our 13th Doctor coming up.
Do you say that because
but with David Tennant as well? It's not solidified that he can only regenerate like 13 times or 12 times or whatever and have 13 incarnations. Like that's not
okay.
Because in an episode with Sarah Jane Smith, he jokingly says to Clyde. Clyde says, "How many generations can you have?" And he says 502 or something. So I
seem to remember reading something somewhere. It was either Moffat or was it Davies? Is he the other guy?
Yeah.
That was one of those two. Pretty much said 13 is the number, and we will be having an answer. And one of them did say no regenerations were given to the Doctor.
Were they even paying attention to their own episode? Technically, David Tennant regenerating into David Tennant, that counted. Come on. Like, they have to. The whole canon of that is just ridiculous, to be honest.
So what little I've read seems to imply that 13 is the 13th, and that it will be addressed, but it won't be. And we'll see if they're just spreading rumors. But what I saw said it won't be one of those deals where, he's got 1 or 2 more. Because River gave him 3 or 4.
Well, actually, okay, if we're saying this is true, if Gallifrey is back, the Time Lords gave the Master more regenerations. In the Time War, they gave him, that was specifically said that the Master had run out of regenerations in the old series, and that's why he went all weird and blah, blah, blah,
No. I'm sure there's 100 different ways they could bring it, change it. I mean, I agree with all that, and that might be what they do. It may be that the next part of the show becomes them, in a sense, unfreezing, or whatever you want to call it, Gallifrey from what happened here. That that changes, and then they can then give him more regenerations or whatever. I think that's definitely plausible. It doesn't sound like they're going to come back with, and it kind of makes sense that they don't, that they're going to say, he gets 2 or 3 more because of River. Because eventually you're still going to have to come up with another excuse. Okay, now he's reached those 2 or 3 that she gave him, and he still always comes to
I just don't like that, in the sense that was always supposed to be like, I don't know. I just think that some of the stuff that's happened in the New Who, like the whole regenerating to the hand, that pretty much among Whovians, a lot of Whovians say that counts. And then River giving him regenerations, that's up in the air. But the whole him regenerating with the Metacrisis Doctor, that counted.
Well, I think it's good myself, at least being the fan I am of the show. I think it would be nice to see them stick with it. This is the 13th, and now they have to come up with a cool way of continuing. And I was never a big fan of, she gave him one or two more. Because then you're always like, oh, if they're going to continually like, oh, here's somebody else that gave him one or two more somehow. Yeah. I like the idea of, okay, this is it. I mean, maybe Capaldi's like coming to the end here and he's just like...
They did say that Trenzalore is where his grave is.
Well, maybe they have like 13 male doctors and now it's 13 female doctors.
Won't be 13 female doctors. If the doctor's going to be female, I bet she's going to be female once. I don't think it's going to stick. I'd like to see a female doctor, 100%, a female or black doctor for the next doctor, but I don't think it's going to stick. I think it's going to be a one-time regeneration thing. And if it's going to happen as a female, if the backlash isn't good, which I hope it would be, good, I hope it would get good feedback, but I foresee it happening a quick rechange if it's not taken well.
Well, maybe the doctor can have a baby and it can go on from there.
But I think the doctor should be female at some point.
I think they'll do it. Episode. I think they'll do it eventually. But yeah, so I'm looking forward to Capaldi. I'm not one of those ones that's going to be, oh, he's an old dude. I want,
Oh no,
the young.
Believe me, when he was announced, I was really happy. Older doctor, same age as Hartnell, 55, I think, when he was first played the role. I'm so excited for Capaldi. Like, I'm going to be crying buckets when Matt goes, but like, Doctor Who is all about embracing the change, and true fans know this.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's probably some fans that are just younger fans that, I know a lot of girls that were swooning over Tennant and swooning over Smith that maybe aren't necessarily Doctor Who fans at a core. They're more fans of those two playing the role. You may lose some. Hopefully, they'll still stick with it. But I'm a fan of it. I'd really like to see a Doctor who's got more of a harder edge to him.
Yeah, I think Capaldi's going to be.
I just think it would be very cool. And honestly, I guess that's the one thing I kind of expected Hurt's character to maybe be a little bit darker.
Yeah, I agree with you there, actually.
Do what?
I agree with you, I think, there.
He seemed a little bit more jovial than I would have expected because of what he had to do or has to do.
Because obviously he'd gone through like years of the Time War, because when he regenerates from McGann to Hurt, it's like you see a reflection of Hurt and it's the actual actor when he was younger. Obviously, he's like the Time War was going on for, I'd say, 100 years or so at least. Yeah, I was expecting him to be a bit more tougher.
Yeah. So,
but I think on the other side though, maybe he'd gone through so much. Maybe that was his like point where he was just like, I'm gonna blow up Gallifrey. I'm done. Bye. And obviously, the episode happened and he doesn't.
Yeah. So I mean, I really enjoyed it. Looking forward to future seasons. I'm looking forward to seeing how they handle here after the 13th Doctor. So we'll have to see. We'll definitely revisit when that happens. We'll see. Maybe Giz is right. Maybe the regenerations were loaned, on a purchase-to-own basis by River. Or we'll see. I think they're going to come up with some other thing just from what I've read. Probably but then again, there's so many things, and they probably like to keep things a mystery and maybe throw some people off the track. But so many of this show, like a lot of sci-fi, gets overanalyzed by, if it's Trek being overanalyzed or Star Wars. I mean, people look for everything they can. So that's what's cool about sci-fi that you don't see with other stuff. So very good show. If you're a Doctor Who fan, check it out. If you're not a Doctor Who fan, go back, start with Eccleston, and start watching it. I know some people call it season 1. Some people say that that's a horrible name because it's really not. But the reboot season 1. But some people say it's never been rebooted. So to call it that, I don't even want to get into that.
I think people say old Who and new Who. That's what they're saying.
Yeah. But if you haven't watched it, you should check it out.
Why are you laughing? New Who. Old Who and
new
New
Who. Sorry, I
Who.
misheard.
N-U-W-H-O.
I heard you.
So, anyway, watch it. If you haven't watched it, Piper, you should watch the show. I
Oh,
think
don't
you'd end
you
up
start.
liking it. I'm not gonna pressure you to watch it.
I am.
Piper, remember how earlier we talked about people spending too much time watching TV and playing video games? That's what you need to do.
Yeah.
You need to do the opposite. Everybody else do what we talked about, not you.
Okay, I'll have my notice in tomorrow then.
But anyway, with that, this ends episode 26 of the Crewcast. If you guys want to say goodbye.
Bye.
Bye.
Thanks for watching the Crewcast. We hope you tune in again next time. Come back.